in 2015, I've been trying to go to events like this to find the best products possible. Obviously, there are a ton of bar companies out there, but a couple of years back, I found Anabar, and I'm standing here with the founder and owner himself right now. You have a partner. I'm not trying to cancel him out, but he's not here with us right now.
He was up a little late.
What were you guys doing last night?
I didn't do anything. I think he met somebody, so he was up a little late.
Good for him. Good for him. I wish I would have done the same. But we're standing here with Anabar, which, in my opinion, is probably one of the best bars on the market right now. If you haven't tried it yet, you should definitely go try it. But we're going to talk about the business side of these things, just like we talked with a couple other brands. Tell us how you started the product, when it all came to be, and how you guys kind of blew up.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, it was by great chance. We had a supplement company at the time, and it was kind of a pet project that it was going, but supplements are supplements anymore. You got one, you kind of got them all, type of thing. And it was actually a really good friend of mine that worked for a manufacturer. I said, hey, you guys considered doing a protein bar? He was like, no, but hey, we'll add it on.
This space is so crowded.
It's very crowded.
Right? Like you walk into Sheets or you walk into some, and there's 50 bars there, which it used to not be that way. It used to be like Quest Bar and maybe one or two others.
For sure.
But now, you guys enter the space, everybody tells you no matter what you're doing, if you're building a gym, if you're building whatever it is, people are like, well, that's really hard to make it though. What's your thoughts on that?
So that's one thing we went into this doing, because especially in the protein bar space, everyone's racing to zero. It's zero sugar, zero fat, zero everything. So we came into it, we're like, you know what? We're going to differentiate, and we're just going to try to do better. This is the biggest sports expo on the planet. But you come here, and 85% of the people are just regular people trying to do better. So it's like with Anabar, we're like, look, it's going to be a better for you candy bar, but you're going to get 20 grams of protein.
And I like that you guys position it that way. You don't even call it a protein bar.
No. Well, we actually did that early on. And I think the biggest thing we got beat up about was the sugar. And we're like, you know what? Let's just lean into it. We'll lean into what everyone's saying and call it the protein pack candy bar. So you get half the sugar of a Snickers, but 5 times as much protein, to where it's just about doing better. And that's in this space when fitness is as popular as it is, it's just doing better. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Well, it's a better choice when you're looking at eating a bar.
For sure.
It's a more conscious choice to do a little bit better. Tell us a little bit about like when it first started out, what some of the humps that you had to get over.
Yeah, so I mean, I've owned several companies, smaller companies compared to this. And I think the biggest thing for us was just trying to figure out what we're even doing. Because I think the biggest thing with business is just high level problem solving. That's all you really have to do. So I think the biggest thing is really figuring out who's going to be on your side and who's not, who to trust, because you get thrown so much stuff with business. Like you need all of this stuff, and you don't. We had a big crew at first. We ended up chopping it down to half. I mean, even now we have 5 total people in our company.
That's one of the questions that I ask early on, because everybody feels like we need a marketing director, we need a CEO, we need this, we need that. When do you start to bring on other people to help you build? Because it is a huge brand.
For sure.
Right? I see you guys everywhere.
For sure.
So when did you start to, and why the early on flux of like a ton of people?
Well, I think because we thought we needed it. We thought we had to have a ton of influencers. We thought we had to have a social media team. We thought we had to have consultants, just because you see that's what everyone's doing. And then you realize we're not making any money. Why am I working 70, 80 hours a week to make no money? So then we cut everyone down. We're active owners. I mean, to this day, I still do the customer service.
So that's a good question. So people always tell me, they're like, well, you're the owner of the business, why are you doing so much? Do you see that it pays off, you having your hands in everything?
Well, for sure, because 1, we're saving money on a new employee. And 2, that means I get a pay raise. So it's like, I can sit there, I can work a full 40-hour, 50, 60-hour week, but also reap the rewards of the company, and you got more control over it. Because the smallest companies up to the biggest companies, no one cares more about your shit than you. And
that's the number one point,
And that never rings more true. No one is ever going to care more about your company than you do. You're going to worry about it. You're going to be the one up late at night. No one else will.
How much do you think it matters that you're here and people are meeting the owner of the business?
I think it goes true because no one can tell your story like you do.
I mean, do you think people are interested to kind of hear, because that's why I do this, right? I want people to meet the owners of these businesses, because everybody thinks like, oh, I'm going to start a supplement brand, I'm going to start a bar company. But they don't realize the nuances and how hard it becomes.
For sure, and I think knowing that you're meeting the owner of the company, you can tell that that they care.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing because, I mean, a lot of great vendors up here. But you go to a lot of people and they just hand out, you know, they don't really, you just don't see the passion. And I always realized, I owned a supplement store, supplement franchise for a few years. I always sold the most of the item I liked the best. So the item, if I liked the product, it was always the easiest to sell because you had the most passion, and people, like, fake comes off as fake. It's very easy. But if you're actually passionate about something, it's the most easiest thing to sell in the world. And I love the product.
Yeah.
I eat the product. I eat 3 a day.
So, were you always a protein bar guy? Like, did you always eat protein bars? Like, some guys who are in the fitness space and workouts, they're like, oh, I don't eat any protein. I don't eat any bars. I try to stick to primarily food.
No, I mean, because, you know, I graduated in the early 2000s, and but back then, like, I would have eaten dirt if it would have gotten me bigger. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I grew up watching you. You know what I mean? I grew up watching you on the challenge. So it's like, that was just, I wanted to be that, and I would have done anything, taken anything, eaten anything to do that. And just being a meathead, like, you just wanted to do what all the other meatheads were doing.
So in this space, there's got to be a lot of innovation. You got to be coming out with new flavors and stuff.
For sure.
Give us a little bit, what are you guys working on or what you have coming out?
Yeah, so we just dropped a new flavor actually this weekend. It's called Fluff and Butter. It's like a fluffernutter sandwich.
Did you guys position that to drop it here? Or
we did, because our 4th birthday is in a couple weeks.
Oh, nice.
So we strategically did that. But it's also weird how 10 years ago, like, the flavors that were popular are no longer popular.
Which ones?
Like the birthday cakes.
Okay.
The fruity cereals and the birthday cakes that were really popular, 2015 or so, no longer sell because it's now past its time. So you have to keep up with the trends. You have to keep up with kind of what's cool.
What do you see people are buying the most at? What are the flavor profiles that people are looking for?
I mean, all of ours are going to be candy. But the biggest one, honestly, like our Monster Cookie, the Reese Pieces, the pretzels, the really sweet and salty ones are by far the most popular.
Cool. Well, listen, you guys are killing it. Guys, if you haven't checked out Anabar, definitely check them out. Where can everybody find you on social media?
At Anabar Official and at the Anabar. That's it.
It's that simple,
Easy
guys.
enough.
Go check it out.
Appreciate you.
Brother, thank you.
Thank you.